Okay, I've just decided that this, like, ill-fitting, Magikarp shirt that isn't great for a green screen, because you can kind of see through parts of it, like, right there, is just gonna be my new card editing shirt. But yes, we are back to improve more Pokemon cards. This time we are doing cards from Journey together, and I've already picked out the 3.5 cards that we're doing. So here you can see the Pancham. He is one of the 3 featured cards I have ideas for. Bagon, we just kind of need part of this card, not really improving this one. Then we have In's Reshiram, of course, big ol' featured boy. And finally, we have this Larvitar here. So we're going to start off here with the Pancham. We got to remove this everything. Oops, wrong layer. And we just got to cut this boy out as good as I can, which isn't very good. So if you haven't seen one of these before, I've only ever done a couple, but worth noting, as I like to mention in these, not an artist, just using a mouse. I do Photoshop, but I like to think that I do a pretty good job on these. People do seem to enjoy these videos at the very least. Make sure we get that leaf sticking out of his mouth. Pancham's iconic leaf. Yeah, I could use like an AI to cut this out, and to be fair, I do use AI tools to cut things out a lot of the time. But sometimes it just feels right to kind of do it by hand, especially when the artwork is kind of like in this style. I don't know how well it would really cut him out. Although, to be fair, for what we're doing, we don't really need him to be cut out perfectly, so I am somewhat doing this for no good reason. I'm just kind of doing it the harder way for the fun and the experience of doing it the harder way. Yeah, my wife actually picked up this shirt, and it is, like, kind of baggy, but it is a large, and, like, that's kind of what I'm supposed to wear. That just tends to happen a lot. A lot of the times I have to wear, like, an extra large because I'm a tall boy. But some shirts are just kind of designed to be kind of baggy. I should be wearing large talls, but most companies don't make shirts in that size. God, honestly, my wrist is already hurting. I've had to do like a bunch of like screwdriver work recently. And like, my wrist is just feeling eviscerated right now. I really should have just done this with the AI. Saved my wrist for the harder stuff that we get to do later, where it's actually kind of important to do things by hand. All right, mostly cut out. We just got to get all of this stuff in here now. Bam! All right, so what we're going to do is we're just going to cut that layer, then we're going to paste it into a new one, and now we have our Pancham cut out. Not that you can really tell, because he's just back on the original card. Like, I'm turning him off and on, can't see a difference. But there's good reason that we did that. Just you wait. Because now we have to do the same thing to this Bagon. Except I am just going to throw this one on an AI. Cut out that so it doesn't think I'm just trying to cut out the art. We're going to add a new layer down here. We're going to make it nice and chroma key green. Cool. All right, we have our Bagon. God, that was so much easier. Like, I should have just done that with the Pancham. But okay, Bagon is cut out. So he's actually going behind the Pancham. That's why we had to cut him out. Then we gotta do like a little bit of a rotation here on this Bagon to kind of have him like sitting on the ground. They're going to make him a little bit smaller as well, a bit more in the distance than the Pancham. And just like that should do the job. We got to make him a bit transparent because we need to erase this leaf so the leaf is actually coming out in front of him, so he's in the more proper layer when it comes to the depth of this card. The colors kind of blur together, so it's making this kind of hard to do, but I think we're doing okay. Like, it's kind of hard to see, like, where the leaf is there. Lower our brush size, try to get the rest of this. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm just trying to do it as good as I can, but man, it's really hard to make out what we're doing. All right, let's bring that opacity back up. Yeah, I'd say that's pretty good. Maybe just like clear it up a little bit here. All right, that's Bagon. We have to do the same thing with this leaf down here, which is a lot easier. Let's erase that. Lower our brush size, erase this one, kind of coming up from the bottom of the card, and bring our Bagon back, and I believe we are good. Cool. Now he looks like he's actually in the background. Just tweak his settings a little bit, try to make it look more like he's actually a part of this original artwork here. Just trying to get the colors to match a little bit more, like the light value especially on this card. It's never going to be perfect because it's not drawn by the same artist, it's not in the same style. But if I can get it, you know, a bit closer to how the original card was. Yeah, I'd say a bit duller colors, honestly. I'd say he kind of looks like he fits. So this is going to be one of the more inappropriate cards that I've done. Get a larger brush size. I think that should work. So right about there. Kind of arcing over. Then we actually want to duplicate that layer and give it a bit of a blur. It's not great. What if we try, like, the pixelization? That kind of works, I guess. So we're going to do another layer underneath that. And this is going to be a bit different. It's going to be kind of like pulling up and like running down. I need to erase that part right there. Oh, a little bit too much. Right there, where it's not going over his leg a little bit. I think that works. Then we're going to do the same thing, but so we're going to do that pixelization. But then we're going to kind of make it a bit opaque, like that. Actually, we'll probably do the same thing to this layer. Lower that opacity down. So it's a bit more liquid-like. And probably one of my most appropriate cards I've ever made. Look, it's not my best well done, but it's childish humor. I thought the second I saw that Pancham in that pose, I'm like, oh my god, he looks like he's peeing. And I did some scrolling, I found that Bagon, and I'm like, his like this flat, like, I don't care what's happening around me face in that card. Just kind of made it perfect. I do think one thing that we can do to improve the Bagon, which is this layer, we're going to give it a duplication. We're going to... Actually, we'll just do it this way. They were given an outline that's kind of similar to the Panchams. Now we just have to go through and erase the outline from, like, the plant and stuff, right? Because that doesn't really make sense. It's not on the outside of the Pokemon. The plant would be covering that outline. So erase it from that, and then the same thing right here. Also kind of going onto the card border a little bit. Let's erase that. Also a little bit more still on that plant. Yeah, not my best work, but I like it. Oh my god. Yeah, it also makes him stand out a bit more. I'm proud of this one. I shouldn't be. No one should be proud of this. Just raising the saturation a little bit on this, make it stand out a little bit more. It's not like immediately noticeable right now. There we go. That makes it better. Now, we're not quite done with this card. I think I want to go the extra mile, because this is Journey Together, right? Let's clone stamp out this Pancham here. This is going to take me a hot minute. I'm not perfect with the clone stamp tool, but I get the job done. If this is your first time watching one of these videos, it's not usually this, like, childish, like, inappropriate humor all the time. It does happen, but the second I saw that Pancham, I had to do it. Alright, task complete. Name has been removed. So in the past, I've just used like a font that was similar to the Pokemon cards, but I did some research and Gill Sans seems to be what they use. So I have installed the correct font, but the main reason I needed to do this was to also get sizing here. So if we just go ahead and erase all of this, we need this ends to be pretty close in size. Yeah, you can see it's not perfect. I might have to like tweak it a little bit, but it's good enough for now. All right, we have Hops Wooloo, so we can see it's a bit higher up there. It's also a very smaller font. Maybe it's not bold. Nah, it's definitely bold. Yeah, maybe like an 11. Yeah, an 11 is pretty close right there. It's a bit higher up on the card, right about there, I'd say. It kind of gets near that. It's kind of lined up with that basic right there. Then we need to go a bit more to the right. And I'd say that's pretty good. Oh yeah, I had to check the spelling. So yeah, it is just going to be... Oh, did I do that on the same layer as the card? Whoops, that was not my intention. Let's undo that. And yeah, I think it was about a 26 that I did here. Let's make sure. Yeah, 26 on font size is about correct. Then we just need to give this a white outline here. Oh, they actually don't do outlines on the text. I'm dumb. So yeah, get rid of that. Cool. All right, we have Pancham's Bagon. God, that's not way too long on that one for being as simple as it is. Let's move on. I'd say that we can call this card improved. All right, now we're about to spend a long time on this one too. So we have In's Reshiram right here. But we have a small problem. See, this guy right here, not really needed. All right, so we are in a different photo editor right here, and I only really use this thing for one thing, and that is object removal. It's not perfect, it's not great, it's gonna make some mistakes, but we're just gonna go with kind of whatever it gives us, then we will clean it up by hand after we are done adding what we need to add. So all we're really doing is we're just highlighting all of in, and you want to go a little bit out, and all it's going to do, it's like a really crappy AI before AI was really like it is what it is now. It's an older program here. But the idea is that it's going to kind of just like take the scene around it and just kind of use that to fill in. And again, it's going to make mistakes, and it's not a huge deal because I'm going to be putting something here anyways. So it doesn't have to be perfect. I just have to clean up around it once I am all done. Also, there's a chance that what I'm trying to do here is just not going to work at all, but I don't have the skill to do it. And if that's the case, I do have a backup plan. It's very similar, but it's not as funny. All right, N has been selected. Now we start erasing, and it's probably going to be horrible. Oh, that's not awful. I don't know what this is about. Where did this come from? That's going away. Erase that. Okay. Look, it's not as bad as I thought it would be. Like, yeah, we kind of butchered Reshiram a bit, but we're going to do what we can to kind of fix him up. All right, so now we have our new Reshiram, but we have another image that we have to make first. All right, background has been removed. I'm okay with that. I suppose we can try and cut out more of him. Oh, okay. It's kind of doing not a terrible job. We do need to restore his little belt buckles here, though. Okay, not bad. Not bad. Erase that, erase that, erase that. And obviously I could do some cleanup after, so it is trying to take off his cloak, so let's fix that real quick. But we still need this chair gone. Okay. I'd rather it take too little than too much, because I can always edit after. Oh, it's trying to get his collar right here. All right, I think we've cut him out. Nope, okay, it's trying to get more of his cloak down here too. Okay, I think he's cut out pretty good. Yeah, that's not bad. All right, now we have Kaiba. We just need to copy him and paste him into this card. Now, he is facing the wrong way, so we do gotta do a bit of a flip here. Okay, not bad. Like, he is a bit bigger than N was, but like, it's the best way to kind of cover up some of what was going on back there. So now we do need to erase his hand here, because that would be going behind the Reshiram. But we also need to erase part of his body here, where Reshiram's little wing hand thing is coming through. This isn't the easiest cutout, but it's not terrible. I've definitely had to do harder. Honestly, doing those leaves earlier was kind of difficult, because like the color difference between the two was like so similar, man. All right, let's try to bring it back to the forefront, see what we're working with. Okay, not bad. I definitely missed some here. Okay, not bad. I think we're doing okay. I definitely didn't erase enough of his arm here, though. It's still like sticking out in front of our Reshiram. No, I did miss some more here. We're gonna have to actually erase it twice because I was just making a new layer. So we missed right there. Right here, a little bit there. Then we have to do it again on this layer now. And we're just going to try and add a little bit of a shadow to make it feel more like he actually belongs in this image. Now, of course, we'll have to edit the shadow a little bit, because he really shouldn't have the shadow on like his arm and stuff here, or on this little wing, because he's going behind the wing there. All right, so yeah, now he has like a leg shadow going on here. Then we are going to duplicate him again, and we're just going to make the other layer black where the edges kind of stick out a bit, maybe double up on it. Gives him a little bit of an outline. It makes him fit in a little bit better. He's still obviously standing out, but I kind of want him to stand out. And yeah, some parts of this card aren't perfect. Like, you can kind of see a bit of a mess here, and I don't have the artistic skills to draw that back in. But I don't think it's too bad. Now, we just need to, once again, play with some of our light levels. He definitely needs to be pretty bright. Maybe, yeah, turn that up a little bit. Then maybe get some more shade. Yeah. Okay, then do we really need to mess with saturation at all? Like, we can make him very oversaturated or black and white. The question is, what color is correct? 'Cause I think the default saturation is a bit too high. We're gonna drop it down at like, I don't know, like 85%. We can also see if any color balancing needs to be done. There's like little tweaks to the color balance. So like here's like the before the color balance, here is the after. Making him a little blue tint added to him just kind of helps add to the, fitting in with the whole piece. All right, now we have this to fix. So we are once again going to go back to our wonderful clone stamp tool. Let me make it a bit smaller this time. Whoops, wrong part of the card. On the wrong layer. and to start clone stamping in this name right here. Well, clone stamping out. After all, in is no longer a part of this card. He has been removed from canon. God, I'm getting so much better at the clone stamp tool. I used to be so terrible with it. Like, I used to be terrible. I'm still not great with it, but I've definitely gotten better at kind of like trying to redraw lines as I go. And like, yeah, it's certainly not perfect, but I am far better than I used to be. Like, that light shaft still just looks like the way it should look. And I know there's probably better ways of removing this. Like, again, I've mentioned before, I'm not a professional. Everything that I know about Photoshop, because this isn't technically Photoshop, I've just learned out of necessity, and because I just find it fun. The necessity being, you know, I do YouTube, and, like, thumbnails have to be made. It actually was Pokemon that I used for a long time as, like, an excuse to get better at Photoshop as well. I doubt many people watching this video, or even active members of my audience, would ever even know about this. I used to run one of those gimmick Twitter accounts. Ooh, that wasn't the best, but it's fine. Yeah, I used to run a gimmick Twitter account back when I was still a Twitch streamer, and, which, to be fair, I would like to return to eventually. I just don't have the time. But, I ran a thing for Ball Guy from Pokemon Sword and Shield back when Sword and Shield was still new. Because I thought Bald Guy was like Bald Guy was kind of creepy, and I kind of made him creepier. And I only really ran that Twitter account for fun. Like, I didn't really gain anything out of it. But I used it as an excuse to learn Photoshop. Like, a lot of the pictures of Bald Guy I would edit. Here's some images on screen of, like, some of the things that I made. Just Bald Guy kind of being creepy a lot of the time. You know, a lot of those were actually, like, screenshots, like, on my Switch. And then, like, editing them into different things. That account is long dead. Like, I think it's still up, but, like, I don't even remember the login for it at this point. Actually, I think I do. I think I can still get into it. So I'm gonna try and improve this light shaft here that I kind of, butchered. All right, good enough for me. We're gonna have text here anyways. Now, the name is obviously not gonna fit if I go with the proper sizing, so now I definitely understand why Yu-Gi-Oh! Names tend to have that, like, shrinking effect going on, because you really can't, like, make these long names fit properly. If I lower it down to, like, there, it would kind of work, and then I can have my other text on the other side. Well, I did that on the wrong layer, though, so we need to go up. I mean, come on, it's a white dragon with blue eyes. Like, I thought it was fitting. Let's add another layer. I don't remember what the size the font was supposed to be. It was like an 11 or something, right? Okay, yeah, that name, like, barely fits. It's kind of jank, but welcome to Yu-Gi-Oh, man. Alright, it's now all on the same layer, so we need to try and match it with that as good as possible. So we are going to now go to our somewhere object, outline. And yeah, I think a 2 kind of works. I think a 3 is, yeah, way too much, but a 2 definitely works. You can also double up on it. Will that make it, like... Yeah, I guess it has a little bit of an effect on it. We'll keep it. Bam! We have Kaiba's Blue Eyes White Dragon. Look, it's a dumb idea. Like, if that failed, if I couldn't get it to look good, I was going to change this to say Kaiba's Blue Eyes White Dragon, and then I was going to change the end portrait down here to Kaiba. So I'm happy that it worked out. I think it's pretty good. All right, we are on to our last card, the Larvitar. But my wrist is killing me, so I am going to be doing AI to hopefully cut him out pretty good. So once again, best practice that I've learned is green background. It did a pretty terrible job, I will not lie. Let's see what it's trying to do here. Okay, oh, okay, I didn't mean to draw that line. Edit cutout. All right, we need to restore a little bit here. Like, I want it to know, like, this guy is what I want. I don't know why it was such a blurry outline, but I don't want that background. So, like, I'm gonna have to do it by hand. Oh no, I have to do my job. Don't get me wrong, AI is getting scary good, and I don't necessarily mean that as a good thing. I definitely do see the upsides, but I also definitely see the downsides as someone who, while not an artist, does appreciate art. But, not all of these AI tools are great at their job. I guess I've never really talked about it on here when it comes to AI tools. Like, I feel like, in my head, Everyone has very mixed opinions on it. It's still like an emerging thing. It's scaring a lot of people. I don't necessarily blame them. I do think that AI has a place. I just think that it needs to be regulated. There's a lot going on with it that's just like not okay. And I think that people losing their jobs from it, like 99% of the time, is just like, that sucks. There are some jobs that's like, yeah, I kind of get it. Like, if, you know, some of those are like, okay, your job could be kind of relatively easily replaced to begin with. But my biggest thing is artists. I mean, if we ever start seeing like Pokemon go down that route with the TCG, if they start doing the whole, let's get this little mud ball in his hand. If they start doing AI on their cards, I'm gonna be very disappointed. Who was that? Was it Magic the Gathering, or was it Pokemon that had like an art contest thing where AI art was submitted and they like accepted it, even though it was like very obvious AI art. Like, I don't know. I think that there has to be something done as like a disclosure. You know what I mean? Like, if you generate something with AI, there needs to be a way that prevents people from hiding the fact that it was done with AI. I don't know what that solution would look like. To be fair, like I don't know how that would be done. But I feel like disclosure is just kind of like needed. I think it was Magic that got in trouble for using AI art for like box art or something like that. I don't remember the whole story. Like, there are AI tools that are going to be very helpful, and for someone like me to like cut out a background, it's doing the same thing that I can do anyways. It's just saving me time. And that's kind of how I view, you know, the whole AI thing. It's a tool. If you're using it for the entire creative process, like, it's just lame, to put it simply. Like, in very simple terms, it kind of sucks the heart out of it. I felt like I should actually give an example of what I mean by AI can be useful and not like job destroying. Just one example, there's this camera system made by Unify or Ubiquity. It's like the same company to my understanding. But the idea is actually really cool. So it's a part of your NVR, basically your security camera system. And you can tell it like, hey, I'm looking for a person in a purple beanie and a blue and white shirt. And it'll like look for all of the instances where that person is on camera. So it gives you the timestamps and what cameras they were on. And you could limit it down to what camera you're looking for, or if you're looking for a specific incident that happened. Like, oh, this thing happened, like find that. So you don't have to comb through hours of security footage or even possibly, you know, days worth. You could have it narrow it down to just a few options. That's not what this video is about. I just felt like giving an actual example would probably be helpful here. I don't know. Let's try not to have like a debate in the comment section though. Like, I don't feel like I read like every comment that gets posted. It's very rare that I missed a comment. I don't feel like just reading comments on AI crap. Like, I'm not really in that scene. Anyways, we can cut this guy out now. We can remove that original layer. We can then paste him back. Oh, whoops, I did that wrong. We can paste him back into a new layer. Yeah, he's a bit jagged, but we can just fix that up pretty easily. Make a new layer. Make it all black. Then zoom in a bit so we can kind of see the jaggedness. Effects, blurs, Gaussian blur on that back layer. We're going to go kind of small with it, like right about there. And then we're just going to like double up on that thing. And bam, he's a bit more bordered than he was before. All right, so now we have the original card back, but I'm going to temporarily remove the Larvitar that I added. On this layer, now we can take the corners of this card, corner to corner, and remove the original art entirely. Then we can add our Larvitar back in. Then we're going to take this scene from Fallout. We're going to paste it in here. We're going to shrink it on down. Actually, I want the Larvitar to be there originally, so we'll do it this way. Paste in a new layer, keep canvas size, shrink it down. And that way I can kind of start like positioning the Larvitar as I go. Okay, I think that's not bad, but now we just need to reposition our little guy here. So let's merge him with that dark layer that I made. Let's highlight him, and we're going to go ahead and shrink him down. And we're going to place him right about there. We can kind of like tilt him a bit, I suppose. His foot is a bit cut off. I can still keep it kind of down low. No one's really going to think about it. Oh, you know what? The little dirt ball in his hand kind of matches the dirt going on in the background there. I kind of like that. All right, so we are going to duplicate his layer, but all we're going to do with this is we're going to go to Effects, Object, a Drop Shadow, point it straight down. We're going to tell it to only draw the shadow. Bit of a distance on it, bit more of a radius on the shadow itself, and lower the opacity just a bit, right? Like just a little bit less there. Maybe I want like a less of a shadow radius, like more like that, I suppose. Then we can go through with our eraser and erase the shadow from here. But we only want it kind of where it's hitting on the ground. So like right there underneath him. I think that works. So you can kind of see like the shadow that I added there. Then let's start playing with levels. Yeah, he definitely needs to be a bit darker for this scene. We're going to change the background as well, don't worry. I think it's still kind of needed. But the biggest thing that I think we can do here is recolor balance him to fit the tone of this scene. And I think just adding red, yeah, that's a huge change. There's a lot of red in this scene. So kind of up that a bit. Do I need to touch this at all? Maybe a little bit of magenta. Blue, maybe like yellow him a bit? I'm not sure. I think that's good. All right, that's not bad. Now, hue and saturation. Do I even really need to mess with this? Maybe desaturate him a bit, like there. All right, now let's work on that background. So we're once again going to go to levels. And now we're kind of doing the opposite. Now we're trying to match the scene more to our Larvitar. So maybe a bit brighter, but then a bit deeper shadow. Not perfect, but it'll do. Let's go to hue and saturation, and actually, I think we're going to turn it up a bit. Not bad. I do think we need to go back to that Larvitar, though, and give him a little bit more of that red. Then all we have to do is just kind of erase the background image where it's kind of sticking over the card, and then remove that green layer, just like that. We have a Larvitar who is watching the bombs drop. I also just realized this is the second time I've done a card edit with Fallout. It was actually one of my favorite ones to do. It's this Chansey sitting on the bench, gave her a gun, and it's here in Diamond City. And then I pasted like the law on castle doctrine when not, and then it modified it a little bit. When not engaged in unlawful activity in a place where Chansey has the right to be, it has no duty to retreat before threatening or using force against another Pokemon when it believes the force is necessary to protect the other's use of unlawful force. And then 200 damage. Gentle squeeze. If you're interested in seeing all of the cards that I've done in the past, I actually have a page in the Discord where I upload them. You can feel free to download them, try to do better than I did, show me what I'm doing wrong, or just download them and share them online. But I'd say we did pretty good here today, so if I had to rank these cards in order of how much I like them, I mean, Larvitar I would probably put in last place. I don't think it's the best done. I think it's a funny idea, but like not the smartest, most clever thing I've come up with. Speaking of not clever things that I've come up with, I mean, it's just childish Pancham's Bagon. It's just so stupid. But I like it. I like how silly it is, mostly just because of that I don't care look going on the Bagon's face. Then, of course, I mean, honestly, I'm somewhat proud of the Kaiba's Blue Eyes White Dragon. I think it's a funny idea, because Reshiram is the Blue Eyes White Dragon. And now that we have, like, the Journey Together, like, trainer-owned cards, well, I guess Kaiba kind of makes sense to own the Blue Eyes White Dragon. But I think we can call all of these cards improved. Again, feel free to join the Discord. If you do any card edits of your own, throw them in there. I would love to see them. If you want to try and improve on the things that I've done, I'd also love to see that, to kind of see what I'm doing wrong. And you can just hang out with a really chill community. So if you guys like this video, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, all that fun stuff. In case you haven't seen it already, I'm going to link up here my Prismatic Evolutions Improving Cards video. On this side, I'm going to have a playlist of all of my Pokemon videos, and I'm probably blocking it again, just like last time. Up here, well, it's probably blocking me. I'm going to have a link to my community Discord if you feel like joining. Thank you guys very much for watching, and hopefully I will see all of you next time. goodbye for now.